The message came at 300 hours Earth Standard Time. Admiral Tom Reed's quarters illuminated with the harsh red of an emergency transmission. He hadn't slept anyway. No one in high command had truly slept in weeks. "Display," he commanded, his voice rough from too much coffee and too little rest. The holographic projection materialized above his desk, the unmistakable insignia of the Imperial Dominion, a stylized nebula consuming a cluster of stars. Below it, text scrolled in both standard and the flowing script of High Imperial. Asterisk final, CO communication. Surrender all autonomous systems or face immediate annihilation. Of an asterisk. Reed closed his eyes momentarily, the culmination of 2 decades of tension, packaged in a single transmission. The Dominion had finally dropped all pretense of diplomacy. "Patch me through to General Wilson," he ordered. Moments later, the lined face of Elise Wilson appeared. Her gray hair was pulled back severely, eyes alert despite the hour. "You've seen it?" she asked. "Yes. How much time do we have?" Wilson's mouth tightened into a grim line. "Intelligence suggests their armada has already entered the Orion Spur. 3 days, maybe 4. And our forces, deployed as planned. The outer colonies have been evacuated. The Rebel Alliance is standing by." Reed nodded. The Rebel Alliance, a collection of human colonies, independent settlements, and a handful of non-human species who'd broken from Imperial control, wasn't the name they'd chosen for themselves. The Dominion's propaganda had coined the term, but the disparate forces had embraced it. If fighting for freedom made them rebels, so be it. "The shelter program?" Reed asked. 92% complete. Most civilians are secure. It won't matter if the Dominion deploys the void cannons." Wilson's expression darkened. "Our intelligence suggests they'd brought at least 3. The void cannons, the Dominion's most terrifying weapon. They didn't simply destroy planets. They erased them from existence, collapsing matter into artificial singularities. Humanity had witnessed this only once, at the colony of New Eden. 8 billion lives, gone in an instant. The SHIELD project?" Reed asked. "Dr. Allen reports final calibrations, but Reed, it's untested technology." Reed stood, moving to the viewport that showed Earth glowing blue and serene below the orbital command station. "It's our only hope." Dr. James Allen hadn't left the laboratory in 72 hours. Around him, a team of the brightest scientific minds from Earth and the colonies worked frantically, making final adjustments to the massive array of equipment that filled the cavernous space. "Power readings?" Allen called out. "Holding at 97%, replied technician Maya Patel. "The quantum field is stable." Allen nodded, eyes fixed on the simulation running on his display. The SHIELD project represented humanity's greatest scientific achievement, a defensive system designed to bend the fabric of space-time itself, potentially redirecting the devastating energy of a void cannon back upon itself. "In theory." "Dr. Allen." The voice came from behind him. Captain Alex Jones, the liaison to military command, stood at attention. "Admiral Reed requests an update." Allen gestured to the display. "We're as ready as we'll ever be. The network is deployed across all major systems. If the Dominion fires, we'll be ready to activate. And if it works." Allen met the captain's gaze. "Then humanity survives to fight another day. If not," he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. On the frontier world of Horizon, Lieutenant Dan Miller watched the sky with his squad of resistance fighters. Their position, hidden in the dense forest overlooking the Imperial outpost, had offered a perfect vantage point for the past week. "Movement," whispered Kate, his second in command, pointing to the landing pad below. Miller raised his binoculars. 3 Imperial officers were emerging from the base, their ornate uniforms identifying them as high-ranking commanders. Behind them, a contingent of mechanical sentries, the faceless enforcers of Imperial rule. "They're evacuating," Miller realized aloud. They know what's coming. The Resistance had intercepted fragments of Imperial communications, enough to understand that Horizon was directly in the path of the incoming Dominion fleet. The planet had strategic value. rich in the rare minerals needed for faster-than-light travel. "Should we engage?" Kate asked. Miller shook his head. "No, we wait for the primary signal. When the Dominion arrives, our job is to disable their ground communications. Without it, they can't coordinate the Void Cannon targeting systems. And if the shield fails," Miller's grip tightened on his weapon, "then we make our last stand here." In the void between worlds, the Dominion fleet moved with mechanical precision. At its center, the massive dreadnought Inevitable Asterisk, carried Supreme Commander Dorn, architect of 100 conquered worlds. Dorn stood before the tactical display, his tall figure casting a long shadow across the bridge. Unlike many in the Dominion hierarchy, he had once been human, before extensive cybernetic improvements had made him something else entirely. "Status of the rebel defenses?" he asked, voice modulated to a perfect, emotionless tone. "Scattered and disorganized, Supreme Commander," reported his first officer. "Their main fleet appears to be concentrated around their homeworld. As expected, they cling to sentimentality." Dorn studied the projection of Earth. "Prepare the void cans. We will make an example of their cradle world. Supreme Commander, we're detecting unusual energy readings from several rebel systems." Dorn's cybernetic eyes narrowed. "Specify." "Unknown technology, possibly a new defensive measure." "Irrelevant. No defense has ever withstood the void." Dorn turned away. "Begin the approach sequence." The alert sounded throughout every rebel installation across the galaxy. On Earth, Admiral Reed stood on the command deck, watching as the massive Dominion fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. "All units report ready," General Wilson announced. "Ground forces are in position on all targeted worlds." Reed nodded. "And the shield?" "Dr. Allen reports green status." "Then we wait." Reed's eyes never left the approaching enemy. "They expect us to attack, to throw everything we have at them in desperation. Instead, we let them come to us," Wilson finished. As the Dominion fleet moved into position, a tense silence fell over the command center. Years of preparation, of sacrifice, of building an alliance from the scattered remains of freedom had led to this moment. "Energy spike detected," shouted the sensor officer. "The void cannons are powering up." Reed took a deep breath. "Signal Dr. Allen. Activate the shield." Throughout the solar system and beyond, on every world threatened by the Dominion, the hidden shield generators hummed to life. The fabric of space itself began to warp, forming an invisible barrier against the coming darkness. The future of humanity, of all free beings in the galaxy, now rested on whether human ingenuity could overcome imperial might. The time for standing guard was over. The real war was about to begin.